Hey guys, it's your pal Victor here, and we just finished watching episode 5 of What If, which is What If Zombies. Stay tuned for our review right now. So, I have been waiting for this episode of What If since the show started. This is their homage to the classic Marvel comic series Marvel Zombies, which is an elaborate what if story. It was based on a comic book by Robert Kirkman, who created The Walking Dead, with covers by Arthur Suidam, who would always do these, classic Marvel covers, but change it to be zombies on the cover. And we're going to talk about the Easter eggs and our thoughts on the episode. Basically, this episode, again, is kind of a crossover between a couple of movies and mixing them up. This is largely Avengers Infinity War, but what if at the end of Ant-Man, Hank went into the quantum realm and it turned out that Janet Van Dyne was a zombie through a virus she acquired in the quantum realm. Then what ends up happening? All our favorite heroes get turned. And we see a flashback of this happening on a bridge in San Francisco, which seems like a nod to the Avengers video game, since that starts off in San Francisco on the Golden Gate Bridge, just like this, and it ends up being tragic. Some people wondered, where is Thor? Well, if you remember at the end of Thor Ragnarok, the Thanos' ship shows up and kills almost all the Asgardians. So we have to assume that Thor was killed in this version, since there weren't any Guardians to come save him due to, circumstances that happen in the rest of the film. And just like the Avengers Endgame, Heimdall sends Hulk to Earth, where he lands in the Sanctum Sanctorum on Bleecker Street, but there is not Wong and Doctor Strange to save him. They've already been turned into zombies. So when Ebony Maw and Cull Obsidian show up, there's the whole thing where Hulk doesn't want to help Banner, and then, it looks like, hey, here's Tony and Wong and Doctor Strange, except now they're all zombies. So they end up killing and eating Cull Obsidian and Ebony Maw, who turn into zombies. And then we meet the rest of our ragtag bunch of heroes, Spider-Man, Wasp, the Cloak of Levitation, and we get a little video that's just like the video at the beginning of Homecoming and Far From Home, the little school video. And now it's a primer for, how not to get killed in the zombie apocalypse. And we get a really ragtag group of Avengers here. We got Happy Hogan, we got Sharon Carter, we got Okoye. Again, another nod to a zombie, since she played Michonne on The Walking Dead. Would have been nice to see her use a katana blade at one time, but she does use her spear to cut Falcon in half, so that's kind of a nod right there. And Spider-Man doing his best job of being Jamie Kennedy in the Scream movies, pointing out all the horror tropes. We get the Train to Busan basic homage here with the subway train, and it's done very well, even down to the tragic, the hero ended up getting one of the heroes here, Wasp, ends up getting a scratch and she's fucked. It also happens in Dawn of the Dead, and where the character goes out into the big crowd, the Dawn of the Dead 2004 remake, and saving themselves, giving up on themselves so the rest of the humans can survive. And then we get a whole homage to Night of the Living Dead, where it turns out, in Night of the Living Dead, the parents are keeping this little girl alive without telling the rest of the crew. And here Vision's doing that with Scarlet Witch. Also, homages to the comic. The head in a jar is from the Marvel Zombie comic, where Wasp's head is kept in a jar. And Black Panther being cut up for meat is also from the series. And then we get that really tragic shot of them getting to Wakanda, and then the dome is keeping all the zombies in. Kind of a shout out to Resident Evil. And then that crazy shot of zombie Thanos only needing the one gem. So one can only hope what shenanigans zombie Thanos is going to get into. But yeah, lots of homages to horror movies here, lots of homages to the comics. But yeah, and Captain America, zombie Captain America, that was a cool shot. But great voice acting here. The guy who did the voice of Spider-Man here was actually the guy who did the voice in Spectacular Spider-Man. That was not Tom Holland, even though it pretty much sounded exactly like him. I'm pretty sure that that was the only big name cast member who was featured in this episode who was not the original voice actor. So yeah, a really good episode. I dug it a lot. I don't know if it was as dark as last week's. I will say there are a lot of plot holes here that if you stop to think about it, will erode your love of this episode, especially if Wasp can have ants eat the zombies and kill them. Why doesn't she just do that all the time? At least clear out big chunks. It's it's one of those things where it's kind of like, okay, why didn't they take Iron Man's armor? Why aren't they all wearing armors if they have a Happy there who has access to Tony's armors? One of those things that makes you think, why does Wasp insist on the big showy death for zombie Sharon Carter, which ends up getting her cut with a bone shard? She could have just popped out through an eye, end of story. I don't know. But other than that, this was one of my favorite episodes. I think a lot of the issues with this episode are largely due to time constraints. But yeah, for the most part, a really fun episode. One of the best ones this season, and I'm glad they did it. And all the homages to making it work in the MCU, it still worked, and it was good. So anyway, those are my thoughts on the episode. If you enjoy, please feel free to like and subscribe, hit the bell icon, and we do watch parties every week for the show, so that's another reason to subscribe, so you can join in our thoughts live. So until next time, face front, true believers, Excelsior.